All right. I would like to begin the interview by thanking you, Meriam, for joining us today on Aaron's Opinion. Why don't you get going why don't we start the interview, or why don't we start the story by talking about how you know me in the first place. So go ahead and introduce yourself, introduce the whole story, and then we'll kind of work through it from there. Go right ahead.
Okay, first of all, I would like to thank you. Big thanks, Aaron, for inviting me here.
My pleasure.
I know you through Radwan, a friend of mine. He was my colleague, and we're still friends.
And he's our great friend, Radwan Mednini from Jarba, the island of dreams in Tunisia. Of course, we're very happy. We're very happy to be friends with him.
Yeah. So this is Meriam Kharfia. I'm 27 years old. I got my bachelor degree in arts in 2017. All right. At the beginning, I worked in a nursery for 2 years, and then I got the chance to work with an American man. He opened up a company here in Tunisia. So now I'm teaching online. I'm teaching English online for people from over 100 countries. I mean, countries that English is their second or third language. Okay. So my hobbies are dancing. I love dancing so much. I love reading. I love listening to music. I love camping. I'm a nature person. And I'm also active in the civil society. I am a member in JCI, and I'm an active member also in the vaccination campaign, and I'm an organizer there. I'm also a member in the Butterflies Club. That's all female. We get together and we choose a book to read. We read it through a month, and then we get together to discuss it. And yep.
Excellent. So good. So good. By the way, you know that I am also an English teacher. I also work online teaching English as a second language.
Really? Oh, great.
Yeah. So that is so good. And I'm pleased to hear that your English is very, very clear and very good. So this is all really good. So one of the most interesting things that me and Radwan have been discussing, and you can talk about it if you want, or if you don't really think it's a good idea, that's also acceptable. But there's been a lot of interesting stuff going on in Tunisia these days, and I think that the rest of the world, outside of me and Radwan, most Americans are unaware of the current situation in your country. So would you like to, educate the world a little bit about some of the various problems and the various things that have been going on, to which there are several different issues right now in Tunisia? Do you want to go from there and talk about it? Go ahead.
Okay. Well, to be honest with you, I'm not so much into political things, but definitely everyone that loves their country, they're gonna have some feeling about things that are going on seriously in the country. So as you might know, that in 2011 we had a revolution, and people were really happy because they removed the system that lasted for long years, and we were hoping for democracy. But things didn't go the way we thought it would, and we wanted it to be. So we, for like now how many years? For about 10 years, we were seeking to have peace in our country. The situation, we thought that the situation is going to be better, the economical situation, the social one, but in vain. Actually, all the governments that came after the revolution made things worse, and that disappointed us. So a lot of people were regretting and were saying that Tunisia before the revolution was much better. But people don't realize that we reach, okay, revolutions do not work out in 1 or 2 years. They take long years to give the fruits, right? So people were waiting for an instant results. So there, then in late 2019, we elected our new president, Qais Said. He is a man of law, but actually he doesn't have anything to do with politics. But people, the great thing about him that people trusted him as a president. He is an honest person, doesn't belong to any political party. So, uh, yeah, in the late 2019, we elected him, and there is a strong. Okay, I'm not going to be biased now, sorry, but I'm giving my own point of view. There is a party, a strong political party in Tunisia that took over the government. So the role of the president was limited. Okay, it's just formal. It was all in the hands of the prime minister and the parliament, and there a strong political party in Tunisia was ruling, which is the one that destroyed everything, unfortunately. Okay, what happened in the 25th of July, which is the Republican Day of Tunisia, people, and especially young people, went down the streets revolting again against this strong political party that ruined the country. So they, they were asking the president to take an action for him to do the things, right? To take control over the country, because these people are ruining it. So yeah, the president was really honest, and he stood by the people, the young people, and he stopped the parliament from working. He took this courageous decisions, and everyone was happy. People from outside my country call me and they say that, oh, what's going on in Tunisia? Things are going bad. We're really sorry. But I tell them, no, we're very happy about these things that happened. Actually, we succeeded to do that. So yes, now there is the parliament is stopped from working, and the army and the president are taking over for a month, starting from the 25th of July. Yeah, and we'll go from there. Then he will figure out things. But we trust our president. That's the good thing about it. We love our Tunisia and we love our president.
Good. Well, that's a very good summary of the current situation, and it's important to talk about it because very few people outside of your region actually know about that. So,
Yeah.
okay. Now, as far as you meeting Radwan, now we know that you're actually sighted, which is great, which is fine. Radwan and I are blind. So how did you come to meet Radwan in university, and what sorts of projects do you and Radwan work on now? And what can you tell me about the different activities you do to perhaps help the blind in Tunisia?
Okay, that's a great question, actually. Well, Radwan was my classmate, and because both of us were from almost the south, almost same place, two different cities, but close to each other. We got from their accent, we got along with each other, and he's a kind person, and I was enjoying helping him whenever he wants, although he is a very independent person. But yeah, from there, I started to know him and we stayed a friend. But actually, there was a gap of 2, 3 years after we finished, because he finished before me. And then, yeah, last year, I guess we reconnected each other. But what I do now, I am an active member in a group that is called Matar. Matar is an Arabic word that is in English is rain. It's originally a Jordanian group. The idea started that they record books for visually impaired people.
Mm.
It started in Jordan.
This
Yeah.
is okay. So good, Miriam. This is what. Okay, now I'm remembering, and I just have to jump in and interject because I was trying to rack my brain. Um, because the truth of the matter is, I knew about the Radwan connection. I knew that I wanted to talk to you about Tunisia. I also knew in the back of my mind, I knew that there was something else that you were involved in the past that I wanted to talk about. So so here's why I'm interjecting. I would like you to now talk about the importance of audiobooks for the blind. It's really important. And of course, I'm going to ask, have you actually narrated an audiobook in either Arabic or French for blind people? What can you tell us about that? Go in that direction, and please go ahead from there.
Yeah, sure. So yes, to introduce this project, actually, it's an amazing one. As I told you, it started to be Jordanian, but then it expanded to the other Arabic countries. That's so amazing. I mean, there you find people from Jordan, Algeria, Morocco, Tunisia, Egypt, and all. Everyone, it's so amazing that when a girl or when someone posts, there are people who are responsible. It's a very organized book. It's all for free. I mean, people are just doing it for the sake of doing it. If someone posts a book and is asking for people to record in just a fraction of 1 minute, they find the people to record it.
Oh,
Trust me, believe me,
I
they
believe.
ask for like 40% to record a book, because they divide it into like 10 pages for each person. Okay. And in a fraction of 1 or 2 minutes, you will not have a chance to record with them. Everyone is competing to get.
That's one. You know what? That's wonderful. I want to make sure that we highlight this organization as we say. I mean, you can, if you want, after the meeting, you can certainly give me the link. Which for some reason, I thought we had talked about it before, but there was someone else I was talking to, another friend of Radwan's. You see,
Yeah,
Radwan is such a great friend that he
yeah,
helps you to connect with other successful people. Everybody's got friends. As long as you're friends with Radwan, you're good. Um, but I know that at one point someone had showed me some sort of a website that did that. So I would like to, if it's an official website, I would like to highlight that because I think that there are a lot of blind people, who speak Arabic who actually probably
uh-huh,
need these books pretty badly. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
yep.
So like,
And this
how does it
uh-huh,
work? Yes, go ahead. Hmm.
yeah, I will tell you. This I joined this group last year. I think was in October. Yeah, and I introduced this to Radwan. I told him there is a group, the Jordanian group that, well, let me call it an Arabic group or Arab group, if I'm not wrong, because it's not just a Jordanian anymore. Every like Arab people are participating in there. So I told him there is this group. If you want anything, or if your friends need to record any book or any files or documents, you can talk to these people there, and they're gonna help you. And I think the one you're talking about is Marwa. Her name is Marwa. Okay, she is the one that got the idea.
Yeah.
Yes, Marwa Damak. She liked the idea of this group so much, and she wanted to take the idea and implement it here in Tunisia. She said, why don't we do something like this in Tunisia? It will be very beneficial to people, to blind people here. So yeah, now I'm a member in in the Jordanian one, the original Jordanian one, and the Tunisian one. And Marwa is also doing great job trying to coordinate and trying to help people. Not all the books are recorded on the internet. A lot of them are not. So yes, we take responsibility and we try to commit ourselves to record as much as we can for visually impaired people who need this book. And
Beautiful. I
yeah,
love that. Now how does it work? So then let's say that you want to read a certain portion of the book. Do you just read it online for yourself, or do you actually go out and buy the book? Or how do you actually access the text yourself to read it?
yeah, I'll tell you the process. The visually impaired person contacts this group, the responsible in this group. The responsible gives he tells another person to how does it distribute, like if the trying to give 10 pages to everyone, okay, to
Mm-hmm.
give everyone chance to read, and also 10 page is a good number of pages, right? So if I don't know, they need I don't know 15%, they post something on Facebook, they say we need 15% to record this book, and they attach the PDF of that book. Okay, we get to the PDF, and I go to the recorder, the MP3 recorder, and I should say, see, that's one of the amazing things about this group. You should say this recording is specifically for Matar group, in order not for people to use it for any other benefits. So it just belongs to this group. Okay, you record, you read it, and in the end of it, at the end, you say that the recording is done. Okay, and then you turn it to you download it into your drive, and then you send it to them. And recently I joined, I tell you what, I got so passionate about this, I can't stop myself. I loved recording. So I also joined, there is another group also related to Matar, but it's on WhatsApp. They call it for emergency, when it's really urgent, when the blind person needs that the file in 2 or 3 hours. Imagine, he just send it, and the people there should record it in 2 hours or 3 hours maximum. And another thing, Aaron, I want to tell you about that. It's the first time I do it, but actually I like it. I committed myself to help a visually impaired person to write down an English book of 255 pages. I'm spelling it letter by letter. And it's really amazing. I know I'm still in the beginning. We're still, we spent an hour in writing four sentences, but it's really amazing. I'm happy with that.
Really good. Really, that's a really valuable thing. Um, and then so let's say back to the books though.
Yeah.
Let's say that Radwan wants to read some sort of a book, then how would he know that the book is uploaded and ready to be listened to? Like, is there some sort of a notification system within the group for that?
Well, if someone wants a book to be recorded, he should ask someone responsible in that group, and he tells them, "Hey, I need for this book to be recorded," and immediately they're gonna distribute the pages, and it will be ready in just one day or two
Okay,
days.
so then how does the blind person find the finished copy of the audio text though? Is it just posted and then they just have to look for it, or does an admin in the group like send them a PM and tell them that their book is ready to be
Yeah,
listened
yeah,
to?
yeah, yeah. After they finish, they do the montage and all, and they send it to the blind person eventually after finishing recording it.
That's really good. That's really good. And I like the fact that in when you do the recordings, you have to say that the files are just to be used in that group. I mean,
Yes.
technically, it's a good activity to do, but of course it can cause a problem, globally with certain books being, published like that. Usually sometimes blind people go to audible.com and places like that, but that's not always available in a lot of countries. So it just depends on where you're living and what the
Yeah.
situation is. Yeah. And
Yeah.
through doing these recordings, have you gained an interest in maybe becoming a professional narrator? I mean, how would you rate your narration skills? It's definitely a skill set for
Oh, I
sure.
would like to thank you because you asked me. Thank you for asking me this question. I already told you that I became passionate actually. And just before I start this with you, I was telling my friend, I told her, do you know some way how to buy those tools to start recording? I'm really interested in, developing this skill because, yeah, in the beginning it was kind of hard for me sometimes. Yes, most of the recordings were in Arabic, but even even your native language sometimes you don't really master few things, right? But bit by bit I got to be more professional about it and skilled, and now I liked it so much. And one more thing, because people here say that I have a good accent, English accent. So I told myself, why not recording English stories? And I have this tone of up and down and all, and I can play with the pitch of the sound. So I thought, yes, why not in the future? I buy the professional tools and I start recording or doing this podcast. Oh my God, we can compete. Aaron.
I welcome, you know what? I welcome competition 1,000 times over. Because if this
Yeah.
podcast, I mean, of course, my hope is that this podcast will help other blind people around the world. But more importantly than that, if this podcast helps you, then it's a successful episode. Do you know what my slogan is? I usually don't say it in the recordings. I usually say it in the outro and intro track. But do you know what my slogan is here
Tell
at
me,
Aaron's
tell
Opinion?
me, tell me.
Oh, Radwan didn't tell you. Help one help one person today, help 1 million people tomorrow. So
Oh,
if I
wow.
can help you, I helped 1 million others to discover their passion for narrations and things like that. Yes. Yeah. As
Oh,
far
wow.
as, it's very interesting, Mariam, because there are not, well, I say that there are not many podcasters from Tunisia. Truth of the matter is, there probably are a lot of them, but their podcasts are not globalized. They have not reached a global audience because most of the world does not speak Arabic or French. It's very, very funny. Actually, just yesterday, I recorded a podcast with someone from Burkina Faso, and we spoke French the whole time.
Oh,
So that was a good one. That was a very, very good listen. A very interesting, very, very interesting person who does a lot of the same activities that you do, volunteering and things like that. But still, the one of the features for a global podcast is that it has to be in English, usually.
yes.
I mean, you can tell me. I'm sure there are famous podcasters who podcast in Arabic, but most people wouldn't know about them because the international content is in English. So I don't know. What do you know about that? Are there famous Tunisian podcasters that I should be talking to and that I should know of?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't really have idea about that.
That is fine.
I'm still new. I think recording or being a member in this group is opening the door for me to the field of podcast. So I'm still new, but I would love to know a lot more. I'm gonna do my research.
Well, what
That's
do
for
you? Well, but how about since you're talking to a podcaster right now, how about you ask all of your questions about podcasting so then I can help you?
Oh, yes, yes. If you
Funny
let
how that works out. Please ask me. What do
yeah,
you
if
want to
you
know?
let
Of
me
course.
first. Okay, first, how to be a podcaster? How to do it?
The most important thing that you have to find out, and once you answer this question, everything else will be easier. There's three questions you have to know. Who is your audience? Who is your audience? Who is your audience?
Oh,
Once you know who you're talking to, then
uh,
everything is easier from there. So
oh,
apparently, my audience are blind people and sighted people who seem to live in Northern Africa or Asia or all over the world who do a lot of volunteering because that's what the majority of or many of my guests are. Now, I've also had musicians. I've had a lawyer. I've had even a retired correctional officer who even worked in a prison. I've told a lot of crazy stories on this podcast. Trust
Wow.
me, what you know now is just the tip of the iceberg. But I will tell you that you really have to think critically, and it's not something that you find out within the first year. You have to figure it out over 2 or 3 years of constantly recording and being comfortable talking to people and talking to yourself over and over and over again until you love it, until you own it, and until you figure out who you're talking to. And
All right.
that's what you need to do. Second, you need to decide if you want a podcast in Arabic, French, or English. I will tell you that if you are able to produce content in all three of those languages, of course, you will get more of an audience and you will attract people who speak those languages. The, the problem that you will discover is that the more you podcast in English, the larger and more globalized your audience will become. So most of the content does need to be in English, but you are always welcome to podcast in Arabic or French or any language really. But English is kind of seems to be one of the benchmarks for sure. And then the third big thing is, so how do you want to like market and engineer the podcast? Do you want it to be, and I don't know, it took me a couple of years to figure it out. Do you want to be like a YouTube channel that produces a YouTube video and then you also produce an audio podcast that people can find after the fact? Do you want to just do audio? I will tell you that more people will notice you if you have a YouTube presence. And then you can attract those people to listen to what you have to say later. But YouTube is the primary global platform now for sure. So that's how you get into it. And then you have to figure out how to set up your podcast, but that's super easy. That's the setting it up. I can tell you off the air in like literally 30 seconds. It takes less than a minute to create your profile, and then you have a platform where you can just set it up and produce the episodes. But that's the production is actually one of the easiest things, but everything else that I said is harder. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I got it. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I might need you in the future for
I
more
I
for more
hope so.
advice.
Well, I certainly hope so. So back to the books. What specific books have you read in the group?
Well, I recorded a lot of Arabic books. Well, as I told you, I take most of the times 10 pages,
Hmm.
okay, in each book. Book are related to Islam, books that talks about history, books that talks about literature, novels, and what else? The English ones, yes. I'm also active in recording the English books. I recorded novels. I've also recorded books that talks about accountants, finances, and that field. Also about law and what else? Yeah, that's mostly the themes of the books that I recorded.
Hmm.
And
That's
yes, I focus more now on my intonation. I try um, to listen to myself. I try to put myself in the shoes of the blind person that is gonna hear it. And can I say one of the funny things that happened to me while
please,
recording?
please do. I'm gonna love it.
Okay, for sure. So you will need, of course, for recording, you will need a quiet place, right? Okay, what I do at home is I stay in a closed room. The room, I make sure that the room is locked and nobody gets in, and I start recording. And let's say that I'm in now 20 minutes. I still have pages to maybe 5 pages to record, and mom starts saying, Meriam, oh my God, I have to start over again. Then I start again. And I remember also one time I was saying sorry for the visually impaired people who sometimes they hear hears some kind of background noise, and one of the people there said, no, 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 no. He said, you don't know that sometimes we laugh too, we like it, that it is not so monotonous, it's not just your voice there, sometimes there is kind of voice. He said, yeah, he also gave a funny story. He said, one time I was listening to the recording, and the girl that was recording, she was like sipping some tea or coffee, I don't know, but this made me remember that word that she said right after the idea, right after sipping the coffee. He said, do not worry about like if it's not like too noisy, but just something like if my mom said, hey Meriam, that's fine, he said. But always we try to make sure we give a quality recording.
Okay, all right. Well, you know what? I think every few minutes in this episode we'll have to pause so I can say, "Hey, Miriam." Um, but what you said was really fascinating. I will caution you about something, and this is equally funny. There are blind people in the world today that refuse to listen to books just because they can't stand the voice of the narrator. So you do have to be careful about that. But I will tell you this, a little bit of background noise can kind of add some flavor, can kind of add some spices. And especially
Oh,
if you're listening to a textbook that you don't really want to listen to, it would kind of put you at ease to know that the reader is, taking a sip of coffee, or I don't know. What if you're someone? What if another narrator, not saying it's you, but the other thing that would be very funny is if a narrator like paused for a minute just to like smoke just to have a smoke of a cigarette or something like that. I'm sure they do that too, and that would seem weird, but it would also kind of comfort the blind person. It would kind of make them comfortable. So, depending on what activity you do to distract yourself throughout the reading, if you do it in a beautiful and dynamic way, that
mhm,
could absolutely add to the product. It could also
mhm.
detract from the product because there are some blind people that are just nope. Next time Miriam takes a sip of coffee or has a cigarette, nope, not getting her book ever again. And that's how weird blind people are. They really are that weird. But that's a really fascinating story. And the fact that you're giving this much thought into it shows me that, hey, maybe we can work towards getting you on audible.com. Maybe you should audition for some audiobooks that they're recording in Arabic, because I know that they need that. It's just very, very competitive. So I think you're gonna end up on audible.com. I really do.
Oh, oh yes, I would love to.
Yeah, you have a very your voice is very clear and very interesting to listen to. So I could definitely
I will
um
tell you another funny story if you don't
uh,
mind.
go right ahead.
Okay, one time in a group, someone posted like, we need a girl that has a good first, an excellent English pronunciation and a beautiful voice. And a friend okay, okay, all right. And a friend of mine mentioned me there. I sent her a message in private. Okay, okay. I might have a good English pronunciation, but what about the beautiful voice? I don't think I have a said, okay, give it a try. So I talked to the girl that asked for that, and she sent me. They're like a brand of I don't know, eyeglasses or something like that. She sent me a text. She said, "I want you to record this." Okay, I gave it a try, and she told me, "Oh, you have a really beautiful voice, and the really, oh, see, sometimes you don't realize your potential." Yes,
that's
so
that's utterly that's adorable and just hysterical. See, they're selecting certain voices. Like,
yep.
as a man, when I listen to a book, I like it, and this is gonna come off as really creepy,
Uh-huh.
but I like voices that are kind of deep and ominous and kind of abrupt. So that's kind of how I am. I'm kind of an abrupt, deep. not always, secretly speaking, not always coming across as being sociable, but I secretly am, you know. So I kind of need someone that's a little bit more sterner and a little bit more serious. But yeah, there are some people that just, your voice, the trick is your voice has to be just right. I mean, can you just say a couple sentences um in English so I can kind of hear like your personality when you record some English? Just come up with, you think for a second, just come up with a couple of sentences that you would say so I can hear the flavor of your voice, I guess.
Oh, okay. Now I was speaking in English, but now when you are when you asked me that, I don't know what to say now. Well, okay, it was a very hot day here in Tunisia. I went out with my friends. I enjoyed going to the beach. And then I came back home. I had my lunch. It was a sauce, spicy sauce with the bread. And now I joined the podcast with Aaron.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, you need to keep recording. That voice was good. That voice was really, really good. So if you can, so remember when you enunciate and pronounce those English words, make sure to say the consonants and make sure to get those. The other stereotype about your region, and it's a social joke, and it's also true. Make sure to
Uh-huh.
get those P's and B's clearly differentiated. Someone from the States who doesn't understand will be confused if you mix it up on the famous words, like apple pie, you know?
Yeah,
Like
apple
that.
pie.
Good. Yeah, you say it perfectly. Apple pie, right? But that's a common one that we listen for. So does the narrator clearly say the syllables? Can I hear the consonants? Do you
Uh-huh.
breathe? And then do you put a nice pause in between
Yeah.
each word? And do you let your voice tip all the way down? So, you really, if you're someone who has a really strong voice, let your voice go all the way up, 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 and then all the way down, down, down. You
Yeah.
should never. So you kind of do have to act it out a little bit. You should never be afraid to use the full potential of your voice. Love your voice, Mariam, because it's yours. You should love your voice. You should
Oh
think
my God.
as a
Those are
narrator,
great words that soothe me. Trust me.
as a narrator, you need to think, if you really want to make it an Audible on audible.com, you need to think, I love my voice, so I'm not changing a thing. Either you're going to buy the file and listen to my book or you aren't, but my voice is the voice I love. And that's the message that
Wow.
you need to remember.
Yeah, that's confidence.
There
That's
you go.
what people love, right?
There you go. So you have to believe in you. Before I'll
Yeah.
buy a book on Audible, I have to know that narrator believed in themselves. And that's a life skill, and that's very, very important when you're competing with, oftentimes on audible.com, you would be competing with actors. Most of those professional books are actually read by actors who were in movies or had some role in actually writing the book themselves. But anyway, um,
Mhm.
well, we're definitely going to find out more about that, and you can certainly send me a website where that I can actually put in the description if you want, so I can learn more about that. I think a lot of the audience will benefit from this organization and will definitely get the books and definitely need, that's a need. So let's see if we can get that in the description. But anyway,
Mhm.
how are you spending your time when you are not doing all of that? What are some other activities you do?
Okay, so as I told you, I'm active in the civil society. I'm a member in an international organization called JCI, Junior International Chamber. Have you heard about it?
I have not. No, I have not heard anything
Do you
about
know
that.
it?
What is that? Not at all. N- Not at all. So, what is that organization?
Am I still audible?
Yes. Uh huh. So, what is that organization? Hello.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
junior international okay. Well, it's an international organization. There is no like benefits, no with no lucrative benefits. I I joined this organization in the end of last year. We're doing events, actions that are that will try to take our society to the next level. It's an organization that provides youth with opportunities and try to guide them, give them opportunities to improve themselves, whether personally or professionally. There, they give you like small responsibilities, but you learn how to be responsible. It goes through steps, right? They give you responsibilities. They provide a lot of trainings concerning let's say, generally speaking, soft skills. And yep, through them, I participate in organizing the campaigns of vaccination here in Tunisia. And what else I do in my free time? I listen to music. As I told you, I dance. I love dancing. And I started learning the guitar too. And I love camping as well so much.
Back to this international
Yeah.
organization, and as far as the vaccination rate. So, have you been vaccinated? I understand that there was some sort of a situation with the vaccines, perhaps in your country. What can you tell us about that? So, what can you tell us about the vaccination situation in your country?
Well, well, I would say now it's better than before.
Kharfia Meriam has joined the meeting.
Now it is.
Good, good. So is the
Sorry,
situation,
I
no,
disconnected.
no problem, you're here, no problem. It when you go back to the
Okay.
episode, it will be less noticeable. It's very strange, but the software kind of
Fix
it's less noticeable when you go back and watch the replay than it is when we're talking. It's very
it.
odd. Okay, well, so yeah, so I mean, do you think most Tunisians have gotten the vaccine, or what do you suspect is the situation? What's going on?
Okay, now they succeeded in vaccinating the elderly at least now, and that's a good step. Now and also for like the medical stuff. And now they're calling for people who are between the 40s, okay, in their 40s. All right. And from time to time now, it's the second time they're gonna do an open day from 7 to 7, where they just call for people who are the range from 30 to 40, 30s to 40s to come to vaccinate in that open day. They're gonna do as much as possible. They're gonna vaccinate people. Hopefully, it goes good.
Hopefully. In addition to my blindness, and I have glaucoma, that's why I'm blind, but I also have something wrong with my heart too. And my cardiologist needed me to get the vaccine. Quite frankly, in the greater scheme of things, could I have actually gotten away with not getting it? Probably. But my doctors felt that I'm someone who is at a higher risk. So I think it's important to
Uh-huh.
consider, the
Oh,
person's medical history, and not everyone needs the vaccine. That's one of the interesting things about vaccination. That one of my students is a doctor, and he
uh-huh.
was very frustrated in his own country because, oh, they gave out the vaccine to all the people who don't need it, and then the vaccine doesn't work like that. You have to decide who really needs it, who's in need of it, and you have to give it to those people. So it's a
Yeah.
tricky equation. Yes.
Right. And I think, or As far as I've noticed now, because most of the since the campaign of vaccination started here in Tunisia, I've been there, and I noticed a lot of people. It's a psychological problem for them. It's more than a health problem. People they ask you, they're old people like 80 and 90 years old, and they ask you, is it Pfizer? Is it AstraZeneca? If it's Pfizer, then I'm gonna take it. If it's AstraZeneca, I'm not gonna take it. Well, do you know even the difference? You know, people get, because the media, all because of the media. You know,
Right.
they are talking about things, and people, what they know, that Pfizer is the best one, and I don't know who said this. So people are kind of afraid of it. Not everyone is comfortable taking the vaccine.
Right. Right. Well, that's life, and hopefully, as time goes on, this will become less of a problem. And hopefully, as we go through life, we'll learn more about vaccination and how it
Yeah,
really works properly, and we'll figure it out better and better each time about
yeah,
assigning, coming down to saying, okay, no, this person over here, no, you need it, no, you don't need it, and telling someone, no, you aren't going to get it because
yeah,
we've decided you
yeah.
don't need it, and that's fair. But I
So
don't
just
know.
this corona disappears, vanishes as soon as yeah, soon, soon, soon.
Well, I don't know. So I mean, like in Tunisia, like do most people like go to a family doctor once a year? What can you tell me? I've never really asked it, but what can you tell me as far as the general medical system of your country goes?
Well, it's sad to say that it's not really good, because most of the people do not really go to doctors until they have something wrong with their health.
Mm,
Yeah, we don't really have these checkups. Not everyone can afford to do these checkups. All right,
right,
so
right,
I don't go to I don't know, to the doctor unless I have something. I suffer from something.
right. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what it's becoming in the United States too, that we only go to the doctor when we have a problem. But by the time we go to the doctor, it's too late, and that's also a problem. So, yeah.
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 But I
Mhm.
think we can do to our health more than the doctor will.
It
Eating healthy,
it all depends.
exercising, yes.
Right, right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yes, I
Taking
see.
care of ourselves.
That is very important. Um,
Yep.
and so do you live with your friends? Do you live with your family? Well, how do you live these days in Tunisia?
Well, since 2 years, because I told you I joined this company, and I'm teaching. Most of the time, I teach online, but still, I am in a different city. It's called Sfax, and my
Hmm.
hometown is called Gibis. So I come here. I'm renting an apartment here. I'm independent, and I love being independent now. I'm getting used to being independent. So even when I go home, I go like once in a month. I stay there, and I can stay longer. I love my family, but also I love my independence. I
Right.
come back here. So I live here. I have a roommate, but she's not all the time here.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
Yes.
Good, good. Yes. And what can you tell us about the city of Sfax? Hmm.
Oh, Sfax actually is located in the south, but not the extreme south. Actually, is the one the closest city to the coast cities.
Hmm.
Okay, it's an industrial city. It's, the people here are really hardworking, among the most hardworking people in Tunisia. They're really punctual. They're good at doing their work and all. And I got to know a lot of people here. I have friends here. Well, I also got to know Rodwan here because we studied here. The university that we studied in is here in Sfax. So in Sfax, there are a lot of universities and a lot of factories. And as I said,
Really?
it's industrial.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. It sounds like one of the most desirable cities in the country, really.
exactly. Yes.
So basically, if someone asks, like, "Hey, where do you want to live in Tunisia? What's the best city?" You would definitely say Sfax, right?
Well, people wouldn't really say that because they want. Oh, they would say, "I would love to live in Sus or in Benzart because they are next to the beach." Okay, that's what people. The first thing that they would say, they would give you a city that is near the beach, right?
Right, right.
Definitely not next to a factory or something like that. But here, if you really want to work, you're gonna find a work here.
That's excellent. That's so
Yes.
good. And now with the universities, are there any like Americans or foreigners in those universities, or is it just Tunisians in the universities?
I tell you what, recently Tunisia had a lot of immigrants, sub-Saharan African immigrants. All right, and they
Right.
come here.
Hmm.
People from, South Africa, Cameroon, Senegal, they come here to study, and also from North Africa, Mauritania too. So they come here and yeah, they study here at university.
That's
Americans,
really
I
good.
didn't really meet. Actually, I'll tell you what, my boss is American, and he started what we're doing now. My work originally started. He got his. I mean, what to say? His. Wait, I forgot the word. My God. When if he finished his work, retirement. Yeah, retired. He retired earlier. So he started teaching people online, helping people from China, and then people from China told this to their people, to their friends from other different countries, and he started teaching them online, helping them in 2012. So from there, he was helping them with their English, and then in 2017, he uh, he got to know someone here from Spax in Tunisia, from Spax, and he told him, "Why don't you turn this group into a real company?" Uh, so he said, "Why not?" So they met and they opened up a company here in Tunisia. But he wanted to keep the group that he started with. So now to be honest with you, I started as a participant there to improve my English, and now I'm teaching there.
Okay. Well, that's really excellent. That's really, really fascinating. And where have you traveled to
Yeah.
outside of Tunisia?
I wish I did, and not yet.
Oh, you have never. Okay. Well, where would you like to go, in the future?
Okay, I tell you what, the destination doesn't really matter for me more than the journey. The journey is what matters to me. I'm sure I'm gonna enjoy any place I go to. Uh, so definitely I enjoy the journey more than the destination. Whether I go to
Mm,
Senegal or to Switzerland or to China or to the US, for sure I will enjoy everything, any one of them, and I'm gonna learn from each one.
right. Right. Good.
Yes.
Good. That's really excellent.
Yes, and I want to share something else with you, Aaron, that
Go right
about
ahead.
my English. Yes, when I graduated, honestly speaking, I wasn't able to speak English, honestly speaking, and it was so shameful. When I graduated and I hold the certificates between my hands, and I said, "Oh my God, now you're supposed to be an English teacher, and you don't know even how to speak the language." So what I did back in 2017, I started talking to people who in this environment, okay, where I just need English. And yeah, it was only when I surrounded myself and I started to talk with myself in English, trying to communicate and practice it over and over again, that I improved my English. I wanted to share this with you because people now want to learn the language, and they think a lot of people that, for example, I teach or something, they say, "Learn English what's the best way to learn English? I want really to learn English so bad. I said that it takes time. There's no magical thing that would turn you into an excellent English speaker. You'll need time to practice that. Okay, I give you tips and all, but you know, a foreign language, you will need to practice it always. So yes, as I also I shared this because, see, I studied 3 years at university. I studied the language, but this doesn't mean that you're gonna be excellent at speaking the language.
Right, right,
Yeah,
exactly, exactly. That is the case. Students
yeah,
ask me all the time, Aaron, how can I learn English quickly? I say it's impossible. You won't. You won't. You can't
yes,
really you can't really learn. I mean, even podcasting, you can't really learn podcasting quick. There's no you can't learn anything quickly. What you can
yes,
do is try to improve upon your craft and what you do over a period of time. But there is nothing happens overnight.
yes, yes, yes.
Absolutely nothing. Yes. Yes.
I agree.
And what are some like um what are some other questions that you have maybe about blindness or about blind people or of course as we start to wind down the episode, let me just see here. Oh goodness. Oh wow. Okay. Actually, you know what?
Time flies.
It flew. I was keeping track. I try to keep it at an hour for for the radio, so it's a nice clean recording for about an hour. Look, we have time for you to ask one question to really make me sweat to see if I'm really worth my salt as a podcaster. What do you really want to know about me?
Um, well, for now, I really liked everything. I mean, the atmosphere that you put me in, the questions that you asked me, you triggered my attention. So, and you helped me, actually, you inspired me a lot. That's one thing I would say also about blind people. And every blind person I talked to, they inspire me a lot. So yeah, for now I don't really have a specific question, but for sure, Aaron, I will let you know. I'm sure that we're gonna have a lot of things to talk about in the future about the project of podcast.
Oh, okay. That is fine. And if someone would like to get in touch with you, especially if they want, an audiobook or they want to learn more about what you're doing, how could they contact you?
Sure, you can give them my Facebook page or my WhatsApp. Also, I will send you my WhatsApp if you want later on.
Well, that's fine, but why in this case for the recording, why don't, if you want, you can say it out loud because some people won't actually look. So if you want, you can give out your information like out loud so people can hear it if you want.
All right. Okay. So my name is the my Facebook name is the same like here, Meriam, Meriam. Kharfia is Kharfia. That's my Facebook name. Okay. My WhatsApp is with the code of my country, 00216 25 154410. And everyone who wants to ask any question, if I can help anyone, of course, that's my pleasure.
All right. All right. Well, I tell you what we will do. We will put the link to probably the best way is if we had the link to the audiobook group that you are in. If there's this particular website or a particular link that people can see that group from a public perspective, that would be really good for the description. I think that would really help out a lot to give out that information. And then from there, if people have those questions, then they can just talk to you directly from there, really. But yeah, Mariam, thank you so much for joining me today. And that's all the questions I have. So keep up your great work, and you're always welcome here on Aaron's Opinion. All right?
Okay, I would like you to thank you hugely, Aaron. It was a great opportunity to be with you here today and to talk about things. Thank you so much.
Always welcome. Take care.